got the glove on it. Squeezes for a second. That's tapped on the ground. It might be academic. They'll flip it to first in time for the double play ball. Huge lead. There's the pitch. It's low. Runner going on a delayed steal, and he's going to be out at second. One, two. The runner moving. It's pulled down the line. This might be trouble, and it's a fair ball. Sandoval coming around. Coach Pineda going to send him to the plate. Here comes the tying run, and he scores. Sandoval. The throw gets away. Cooper will go to second base, and we're all tied at 6 as Sandoval scampers in.
Hit so far. That ball is driven deep to right center field, and it's gone. Second home run of the inning for the Cougars. They've got 5 runs in, and Siembieda has come roaring back here at the top of the 3rd inning. 2-run home run for Jalen Montez.
Long look in. There's a pitch. That's in the air. In shallow right. Very aggressive as Gerard Pineda will have a play at the plate. Oh, what a hose in right. The ball was waiting for him as he came home, and he was dead to rights.
2-2, nobody out. 2 runs in. There's the pitch, and that's up the middle. No, right to Francois. Back to second for a double play. That's a good play by Francois. And 0-1 to Araceli Morales. There's the pitch. Morales swings, hit to Vela. What a catch by Vela in right field. Vela coming to her, running to her left and diving.
This one swing, it's going to go straight. Let's see if it falls, and it looks like the catch was made, and indeed it was for the 3rd out. Sprawling was Kayla Reed for the 3rd out. What a play.
It's a good morning to have our Dallas insider, Micah Doncic, in the house hanging out with us this morning because boy, oh boy, has it been a crazy couple of days for the Dallas Mavericks in the future. Is it in doubt for the rising star, soon to be superstar, Luka Doncic? We saw a couple days ago Donnie Nelson, former coach, been in the front office, a big part of that Dallas Mavericks organization, was let go. And then yesterday, Rick Carlisle, after 13 years with the Dallas Mavericks, said that he was stepping down. And he said, quote, "This was solely my decision. My family and I have had an amazing 13-year experience working with great people in a great city." And all that means is all eyes immediately turn to Luka Doncic, the player who is just 22 years old, but we know he's got the goods. He's up for the Supermax deal, so we're talking $200 million.
Big money.
And we thought it was just going to be, who can you find? Who can you pair with Luka to get them over the hump, to put them in title contention? Because there's no doubt he has the skills, but now you have to bring someone in the front office. Who's the right coach for Luka Doncic? And this young man is going to figure out that he does indeed have a lot of power in this league.
They are doing anything it takes to make Luka happy, which I appreciate because, you look out there and a lot of sports franchises aren't willing to part ways, and clear house just for one guy. But they recognize how special Luka is and that he is the future, and they are willing to clear house. And to be honest with you, I don't think the coaching search is going to be that hard. I think our next coach is already on the staff, right there on the bench, coaching next to Carlisle, and that's, what's his name? Jamal Mosley. Jamal Mosley, I believe is his name. He's an assistant, already on the bench. I think he's the next guy. I think that's why Carlisle was willing to step down, is because Luka is looking at that assistant coach, Jamal Mosley, as I want him. And I think that's why, we heard about a little bit of a rift yesterday with Carlisle and with Luka. And so I think Carlisle recognized, hey, Jamal Mosley could be that next guy. I'm going to step down. I'm going to let him take the reins, make Luka happy. So I think that's what's happening. But I'm still scared, JJ. Don't get me wrong.
You always have to be a little nervous. You always have to be a little nervous when it comes to superstars. But $200 million. I don't think that Luka Doncic is in a position to turn down $200 million. Kind of like what we saw happen with James Harden when he turned down that extension in Houston. People are like, what are you doing? Well, James Harden's at a point where he has already made a ton of money in his career. And it's not like Luka Doncic isn't going to make money, but you want to sign that first Supermax. It doesn't mean you're never going to have the ability to go somewhere else if you get there, but you want to guarantee yourself $200 million. So now the question for the Dallas Mavericks is, what can you do since you have the superstar to put yourself in position to compete in the Western Conference? We already saw they're right there. And the Clippers have shown you how good they can be. And that was a healthy Clippers team that went 7 games. They had a 2-0 lead. Dallas almost broke the Clippers. And by the way, it kind of forced them to get their ish together and become the team that we saw.
Now all of a sudden the Clippers are put together. Like, oh, God.
Oh, thank you, Dallas, for that. So it comes down, what is Kristaps Porzingis' role in this organization, and what is his value? Because as much as we're going to talk about the head coach, how happy is Luka with the organization, or who does he want to be his coach? It comes down to, that is the player, Kristaps Porzingis, that is either going to have to be better because he went MIA so many times, or can you find a way to use him in a trade to bring in a better number 2 for Luka Doncic?
Well, and that's the problem, is there's so many conflicting reports coming out of Dallas right now. Like we saw a couple weeks ago that Kristaps was unhappy with his role with Dallas. He feels like he's more of a superstar. He felt like he was being more, used as like a third guy. He wants to be that number 2, but he went missing a lot, and so you couldn't really use him as a number 2. And then all of a sudden, I saw a report this past week that he said, hey, Dallas fans, get ready for Unicorn 2.0. I'm coming back with a vengeance. I'm excited. And so all of a sudden we're getting these conflicting reports out of Dallas, which is like, okay, does Kristaps want to be here or does he not? And the problem is he gets hurt. He can't stay healthy, and he's not that number 2. So he needs to be used as a number 3, as one of those 3-4 guys. And Dallas needs to bring in a number 2, and Kristaps needs to be okay with that.
He's essentially the Chris Bosh in this situation.
Yeah, no, exactly. And he wants to be that number 2. And
we thought he was going to be. And Chris thought what we saw early in his career, but he wasn't aggressive.
And he can be. And he can
take over the game then. Because I was watching that first round series, and I'm like, I want Tim Hardaway Jr. to take more shots than Kristaps Porzingis right now. That's what happened watching this series. Tim Hardaway Jr. was your second best player. And unfortunately, you're not going to be playing at a championship level if Tim Hardaway Jr. is standing out as your second best offensive weapon.
No, exactly. And if Tim Hardaway Jr. was that 4th guy and you had a number 2, then it would be perfect. And Kristaps can be that guy. We just haven't seen it. I mean, it's exactly like the 76ers. They're waiting on Ben Simmons. The Mavs, they're waiting on Kristaps Porzingis right now. And so now you have to make a decision. Do we want to wait on him? Do we want to bring in this new head coach, see what's going to happen with Porzingis? Or do we not take that chance and do we trade him for a number 2? Do we try to get a number 2 in free agency? It's just, I'm scared, JJ.
It is a nerve-wracking situation for a fan when you hear about turmoil and feelings when it comes to Luka Doncic, but ultimately he's not turning down his first opportunity to sign the Supermax.
And I think it helps. Don't get me wrong. People wouldn't say it helps, but I think it helps that Dirk is kind of the role model to look at. 20 years of the franchise. I think Doncic wants to achieve that. So I think Doncic is in it for the long haul, not just the money. But
the money is nice.
But yeah,
the Supermax deal, $200 million. But my concern would be, do you feel that there's something still bubbling like in the front office? Do you feel there's still some tension from top to bottom in that organization, which you can lock in Luka Doncic, but are you going to be able to get on the same page to get him the players he needs to maximize this Supermax contract.
Well, and that's why I said I'm still scared, because I mentioned during the break is that after we fired Donnie Nelson, that's what made it seem as it was Donnie Nelson was the one that was leaking these conflicting reports, that we're getting all these conflicting reports because Donnie Nelson, because after we got those reports, those conflicting reports about Doncic, boom, Donnie Nelson was fired. So it was like, okay, maybe Donnie Nelson was some of that turmoil. And then all of a sudden it was, oh no, Doncic was kind of upset that Donnie Nelson got fired. Boom, Rick Carlisle steps down. And so all of a sudden, if Carlisle wouldn't have stepped down, I would be feeling better. Okay, we got rid of, some front of house. We cleared up a little bit. And then Carlisle stepped down, and that's what made me, okay, something's wrong here, and there might be a little bit more. And we don't know what that is, but that's why I said I'm still a little scared.
It is a fantastic opening, whether it is someone on the bench that's going to slide over. You get to coach Luka Doncic. Right now, there's 7 jobs open in the NBA with superstar potential. We're talking Jason Tatum, Zion Williamson needs a head coach. The team in Portland's pretty good. Like, they still can't compete. And by the way, Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal made the playoffs. So there are star players that are looking for head coaches. What position are you taking? What franchise is in the best position right now to make a big move? By the way, speaking of the Boston Celtics, how about a Woj bomb for you already? Maybe before you've even had your first cup of coffee. Adrian Wojnarowski, ESPN, and this is blue check mark. This is verified. The Celtics are trading Kemba Walker and the number 16 overall pick in 2021 and a 2025 second-round draft pick to Oklahoma City for Al Horford, Moses Brown, and a 2023 second-round pick. So they're bringing back Al Horford to the Celtics. I think a lot of this is about Moses Brown. He's a young forward that flashed a little bit for OKC, but then you look at they've had Robert Williams injured in Boston, and they're taking a chance on Moses Brown, and then just bringing back good old Al Horford to be a veteran on that team. Because Jaylen Brown's healthy, Jason Tatum, that's a roster that I'd be very excited about.
I don't see trading away Kemba Walker.
After 1 year.
I just still like Kemba Walker. All of a sudden, like, he was the guy that you wanted in free agency, and all of a sudden it seems like he's just bouncing around now, and he's become just this guy that just kind of gets traded away. And Kemba Walker's still so talented to me. He's still so, like, he can be that third guy that you need. And I mean, especially with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker. I mean, I would have loved him with Dallas.
Already done after 1 year.
I would have loved him with Dallas. Doncic, Walker, Porzingis. Ooh. But you just trade him away after 1 year and just get rid of it for someone that, yeah, they showed flashes, but, they might not pan out to be anything. And this could be, you gave away not only Kemba Walker, but, a pick too.
16th overall pick.
So you got to have some confidence, and I just don't know if I have that confidence yet to trade away a guy like Kemba Walker and the 16th pick for, we'll see what happens.
Well, the NBA offseason is already busy, plus the playoffs that are going on. We'll dive into tonight's matchups. We talk KD and Giannis. Who do you trust in Game 7? Coming up at 8 o'clock this morning, we're going to meet the new head baseball coach at the University of New Mexico, Todd Brown. After 14 years at North Dakota State, he was announced as the Lobos head baseball coach yesterday. So we'll hear from him. And, of course, you can get involved. Quan's Auto Care hotline is 246-0610. Send us a text, NMDOT text line. Don't forget the 505-246-0610. U.S. Open second round today. And Phil Mickelson, maybe a little too much celebrity in round 1. That's coming up next here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal.
Garcia prepares, deals, and she swings it. This one looks ding dong doink. Yabba dabba doo. Grand slam by Mia Flores. Four ribbies for Mia as she just unleashed on that softball.
DCE Systems want to help schools reopen and keep the students, teachers, and staff safe. We can also help every business reopen and keep their employees and customers safe as well. Don't just disinfect. Novalent antimicrobial technology provides ongoing residual protection against bacteria and viruses and is proven to last up to 90 days. That's right, up to 90 days. Call us today at 505-507-7722 or go to dcesystemsinc.com to learn more. DCE Systems are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Datacom is the manufacturer's representative for the states of Arizona and New Mexico. Datacom represents Fuji Electric for uninterruptible power systems and Layer Zero for static switches and power distribution units. High-Tech Power Protection manufactures dynamic rotary UPS systems up to 3.6 megawatts, individual and 100 megawatts by combining multiple units. Call Louis Ruffin today at 505-507-7722 or go to datacom.com to learn more.
Dream Style Roofing tops them all. When your roof's worn out and needs to be replaced, we're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. They're at home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style, a company name that's been around forever. No one does it better. You need a new roof, you know who to call. Dream Style Roofing tops them all.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Here at Legacy, we are here to disciple people by helping them connect with God, grow in relationships, and live generously.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
A rogue virus, no jobs, sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, Watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
Blame it on the cell phones. It's too loud, forgot to put it on silent. We've all been there. Your cell phone goes off when you don't want it to. It happens. But apparently, for 18 holes at the U.S. Open, Torrey Pines, that's all Phil Mickelson heard. It was a clickety-clack, clickety-clack. People typing on their cell phones, ringers going off. What is this, 2006 in high school when we first discovered you could put songs as your ringtone? Trying to catch me riding dirty. By the way, got a fun story about that song as a ringtone, something that happened to me. We'll get there eventually. What is up? It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM AM 610, the sports animal. JJ Buck, yes. Micah determined.
Yeah.
In the house, Steph, producing, taking your phone calls. Quan's Auto Care hotline is 246-0610. But Phil Mickelson coming off PGA Championship victory, trying to complete the career Grand Slam. He just has never won the U.S. Open. It's a tournament he's finished second place 3 times at the U.S. Open. And he's riding that wave, feeling good. And it wasn't a great day for Phil Mickelson yesterday. He said, quote, "It's part of professional golf. You have to learn to deal with it. I don't understand why you just can't turn that little button on the side into silent. I probably didn't deal with it internally as well as I could have or as well as I need to. It's part of playing the game out here at this level. Certainly, I didn't do my best job of dealing with it." So it was the cell phone's fault. It was the fans. You know it's going to be rowdy. But Phil loves it when he's playing well. He buys into that. He is the fan favorite. But now he's struggling a little bit. It's the U.S. Open. You know, it's going to be a tough course. And Phil Mickelson over par. And it's too much from the fans.
And that's the funniest part about his 2 quotes is that it's, yeah, I'm a professional golfer. I really need to tune that out. I really need to do a better job. But those dang cell phones, they just get in my way. I'm like, well, you just said in that first part, you're a pro golfer. Just to me, I love Phil, but it just seems like a little bit of an excuse. And like that quote, you know, he's just, I don't know, it just seems like he's just, I should be better, but I didn't. You really need to turn that off.
Please be quiet. We know it's silence, but Phil is a player that loves it when it's going his way. And now, of course, after a 4 over 75 in round 1 that has him tied for 96th, a little too much from the fans. There's some big names that struggled yesterday. Tony Finau, 3 over par. But atop the leaderboard right now, Russell Henley and Louis Oosthuizen, 4 under. Oosthuizen still has 2 holes to finish in his round before he'll start his second round. And then Brooks Koepka, Xander Schauffele, big dogs there at 2 under. Bryson DeChambeau was +2 in the opening round. So it's U.S. Open. We know it's going to be a tough course. We know the scores are going to be low in terms of not the big numbers on the board, looking at 10 under, 12 under, etc. But what we saw yesterday from Brooks Koepka is, again, the dude that shows up in the majors. And whatever you're watching, I watched a little bit of the Golf Channel last night, and they're just trying to wrap their heads around it. Like, this guy is absolutely built for majors, but doesn't care about anything else. But then you add into the fact you have the Bryson DeChambeau stuff going on. Are we ever going to see these guys back and forth? So Bryson needs a big day just to vault himself up the leaderboard. I don't think he's going to be in position to miss the cut. I don't think that number is going to get too crazy, but we'll see with a couple of those players up top, you know, how well they shot, Henley and Oosthuizen. But Brooks Koepka already in contention. It's a major. We know what it's all about with Brooksy.
Yeah, but no one cares because Phil's the cell phone's going off for Phil. You know, I was just going to say, you know, if Phil was playing good right now, he wouldn't have mentioned anything about any cell phones. It wouldn't have mentioned nothing. And if he was in the lead right now, he probably would have, hey, those cell phones, keep them chiming. But it's because he's playing bad. I'm telling you, excuses. Excuses.
That's what happens even for Phil Mickelson. Now, we didn't get the pairing of Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka, as we talked about throughout the week. Did the USGA reach out to their agents? Did they decline? Whatever happens, there's still a little going on. And Bryson's not going to let it go. And he's the guy that's going to, I think, keep egging this one on. We've kind of seen Brooks Koepka have the, whatever attitude. I'll take my shots when he's there. But I don't know how willing Brooks is just to keep this going, even though both are in for it. They said, yeah, it's fine. We understand what it means. But DeChambeau yesterday noticed that Koepka was being interviewed by Todd Lewis of the Golf Channel. So what did he do? He jumped and waved his left arm over the fence behind where Koepka was standing.
Ooh.
Not quite as bad as the infamous eye roll video.
Shots fired.
But Bryson's the guy that's going to keep poking the bear. Keep poking, keep this going back and forth. And we'll see just how much this matters. Jeff is all in. He's our golf guy, of course, and he thinks this is great for the game. The players overall are enjoying it. But I'm really interested to see, though, how this comes across like this weekend. It's the U.S. Open. It's a major tournament. This is when you get a lot of the crossover. So how does Brooks and Bryson play throughout the U.S. Open coverage or the storylines around the tournament?
I agree with Jeff. I love it. I think it's great for the game of golf. I mean, it gets you talking. It gets you talking about golf. It gets you. Usually if you go and you watch a major during the weekend, you kind of just, you're not watching. You're just watching it for the golf. You're just watching it for the fun. But now it seems like I'm gonna watch it for a little bit of rivalry. When have you seen something like this recently, where there's been a big rivalry, and you want to
had one in golf for a while?
Yeah, and you want to tune in just to kind of see what happens in this rivalry. Just see these two guys get down. And I agree with Jeff. I think it's great for a game where they're really trying to attract more of an audience, trying to get more viewers. I think it's great.
They're trying to get a little bit of that drama, that social media buzz.
You get it in the NBA, you get it in every other sport. Now it's coming to golf. It's beautiful, baby.
We'll see how Phil Mickelson responds in round 2. 4 over par after round 1. Brooks Koepka sitting pretty good, but everyone is looking up at Russell Henley and Louis Oosthuizen, both 4 under par atop the U.S. Open leaderboard. Coming up 8 a.m., I'll talk with Todd Brown, new baseball coach at the University of New Mexico. Lobos announced the hire yesterday. Todd spent the last 14 years at North Dakota State, so we'll catch up with the new baseball coach and get his thoughts at becoming a Lobo and what the future of this program looks like. We're talking about Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka. What do? They bomb it from the tee. Let me tell you about F45 training. If you want to get that strength, you want to get that stamina, maybe get a little extra oomph on the golf course, well, F45 training can do that because it's full body functional fitness. And what do you do when you're swinging a golf club? It's everything. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. You need it in that movement to strike the ball with F45 functional training. It's going to cost you just 45 minutes. Get a high-intensity workout that's fast, fun, and results-driven. Last night, it was power, upper body work. Today, it's going to be more cardio-based. But the thing I love about F45, it's not just 45 minutes on a treadmill, a rower, anything along those lines. It's full body functional fitness. They put your body through different workouts, different movements to where you hit those strength, those cardio plateaus, your heart rate, high intensity. What does that mean? It's going to raise, it's going to drop. You're going to get yourself a fantastic workout in just 45 minutes. The atmosphere is fantastic. The gym is awesome. And what I love about it as well is it's for everyone. You can be someone that's in good shape and push yourself doing different things that you're not used to, or someone that's looking to kickstart their fitness, and F45 is there for you. The way the workouts are set up, it's not going to overwhelm you. You're not just going to be staring at 100-pound weights. No, that's not how it works. So check them out at f45training.com. Download the F45 app today. Team training, life-changing. I'll see you at F45.
Staples Connect.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot. It's It's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Calling all football players, are you looking to develop your skills this season? It's never too late or too early to put in the work. Coach Carl Barrere and the Air Barrere program at 8 Grady's Performance Center provide comprehensive position training for aspiring football players at all levels. Whether you're looking to increase your speed, gain strength, or hone your skill, we train all positions with a team of experienced coaches who know what it takes to succeed at all levels from Yaffle to college. Check us out at 8gradys.com to learn more and sign up for training today.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green and keep the community green as well. Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment. You trash it, we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
Next in line.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Extreme Clean is a proud sponsor and supporter of ProView Networks and all high school sports athletics. Owner Mike McLean and Extreme Clean specialize in carpet cleaning for apartment, realty, business, and residential clients. With over 20 years experience, attention to detail and quality customer service matters. For more information, give them a call, 505-221-6440, Extreme Clean.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspets.com.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog! Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened? Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Car Crafters is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Drive, Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, Micah. Josh produces for you today over on the ProView Network side, where you can watch the show worldwide on ProViewNetworks.com or statewide on Comcast Channel 26.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show.
Good morning. Welcome to Sports Desk Live on Comcast Channel 26.
Welcome to The Point with Nick Rich.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 10, America Talking Out.
I'm Pastor Flora Padilla of Mending Broken Hearts.
Welcome to Henry T. Game Face Live, Comcast 26, and Big Bad ProView Network.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Welcome to Local Focus with Sebastian Noel.
Welcome, sports fans. It's that time of the week again. You are watching the Weekly Rundown.
Hey, welcome to Red Menace TV here on ProView Network.
Hello, I'm Steve Davis. You are watching Public Access TV.
Here's a 1-2. That's lifted well hit into the gap. This might clear the bases. It's going to bounce off the wall, and it will clear the bases. A bases clearing double off the bat of Nico Barella. Got the glove on it. Squeezes for a second. That's tapped on the ground. Might be academic. They'll flip it to first in time for the double play ball. Huge lead. There's the pitch. It's low. Runner going on a delayed steal, and he's going to be out at second. 1-2. The runner moving. It's pulled down the line. This might be trouble, and it's a fair ball. Sandoval coming around. Coach Pineda going to send him to the plate. Here comes the tying run, and he scores. Sandoval. The throw gets away. Cooper will go to second base, and we're all tied at 6 as Sandoval scampers in.
Still finishing up high school state championships, track and field, baseball and softball. Of course, Aaron and company at ProView Networks holding it down. Those guys still chugging along, going strong. Some news yesterday that vaccinated high school athletes can finally remove their masks. Now, there's only 9 days left on the prep calendar when it comes to competition, but those high school athletes who are fully vaccinated can compete on the field of play without mask. And I know that's been a big topic conversation lately, especially we're talking, it feels like it's 100 degrees from about 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. the last couple of weeks. It has just been insane outside, and it's the right move. It has been well past time for these high school athletes to compete, get out there. I think they've done a fantastic job. These student athletes, these coaches, to handle everything that's been thrown at them. Once they were able to get back on the field or court early this spring, as we wrapped up winter into the spring, what we saw, the work to be done to play basketball tournaments, all the other state tournaments, wrestling, etc. You name it. It's been fantastic, and now just a little, all right, don't have to do it, don't have to pretend to wear it anymore. Get out there, play your sport, finish the season, let's go.
Kudos to all you high school athletes. I mean, if I was in high school right now, back doing two-a-days, I don't think I could have ever done that with the mask on in that 100-degree heat and doing stuff like that. And kudos to these student athletes, all of COVID, for just hanging in there and having hope. And now we finally get to see, them out there doing their thing, without any of these restrictions.
So Sally Marquez, NMAA, said yesterday evening that it was the responsibility of the schools and their athletic directors to hash out which athletes had been vaccinated and thus could compete without masks, and those which had not. So that's kind of what we're just seeing overall. Vaccinated, move on. Not vaxxed, have your mask on. Ultimately, I still think, in this case, competition outside, track and field, don't need it, but we're starting to get there. Moving forward, I know that was a big topic of conversation, especially with state meets here, and unfortunately, it did not come down in time, as we saw. Was it yesterday? Was it 2A or 1A out there at UNM? It was 1A. 2A is this morning. 3A on Saturday. So that stuff came down, and it's just one less thing to worry about, because we're already seeing. We talked about the fans in the stands. They're not distance. They're sitting there. But the athletes that are not necessarily grouped together in track and field, if you're running a track meet, it's the right thing. I know parents have to be happy about it with some of the conditions that we've seen. And you can just get back to focusing on these student athletes that have put in a ton of work just to stay focused, stay where they need to be, and see some state track finals get done. And then look ahead to baseball and softball.
Could you imagine doing 100-meter hurdles with a mask on?
Not when it's 100 degrees.
100 degrees, you're running full speed. You look over to your mom. She's got a fan on herself without a mask, nothing, and you're over here, in the heat with the mask on. Ugh, jeez.
Yeah, so we've done what we had to do to get to this point. Keep on working, but that was some big news yesterday for the NMA and the high school student athletes that are still competing to finish out their season. Yes, that voice you hear is Mike joining me in studio this morning. JJ Buck, Stephanie producing. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. Talk with new baseball coach Todd Brown, newest Lobo head coach. He's going to join us at 8 a.m., taking over the program after 14 years at North Dakota State. So he's going to join us coming up in a few minutes at the top of the hour. Speaking of baseball, the streak continues. The Arizona Diamondbacks lost again on the road. Their 23rd straight road loss. It is one of the wildest things you can see. Teams are bad, but you somehow, some way get a walk-off win. You hit a walk-off homer in Game 3 of a series to wrap it up. Not quite the case for the Diamondbacks as that streak continues. How in the world did we get here with Arizona? We'll talk about that. Tons to get to this morning, but coming up next, you're going to meet the new head baseball coach at the University of New Mexico, Todd Brown, in Cherry and Silver. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Hit so far. That ball is driven deep to right center field, and it's gone. Second home run of the inning for the Cougars. They've got 5 runs in, and Siembieda has come roaring back here at the top of the 3rd inning. 2-run home run for Jalen Montez. Long look in, there's a pitch. That's in the air. In shallow right. Very aggressive as Gerard Pineda will have a play at the plate. Oh, what a hose in right. The ball was waiting for him as he came home, and he was dead to rights. 2-2, nobody out. 2 runs in. There's the pitch, and that's up the middle. No, right to Francois. Back to second for a double play. That's a good play by Francois. 0-1 to Araceli Morales. There's the pitch. Morales swings, hits a Vela. What a catch by Vela in right field. Vela coming to her, running to her left and diving.
Let's see if it falls, and it looks like the catch was made, and indeed it was for the 3rd out. Sprawling was Kayla Reed for the 3rd out. What a play. Garcia prepares, deals, and she swings it. This one looks ding dong doink. Yabba dabba doo. Grand slam by Mia Flores. Four ribbies for Mia as she just unleashed on that softball.
DCE Systems want to help schools reopen and keep the students, teachers, and staff safe. We can also help every business reopen and keep their employees and customers safe as well. Don't just disinfect. Novalent antimicrobial technology provides ongoing residual protection against bacteria and viruses and is proven to last up to 90 days. That's right, up to 90 days. Call us today at 505-507-7722 or go to DCESystemsInc.com to learn more. DCE Systems are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspets.com.
Datacom is the manufacturer's representative for the states of Arizona and New Mexico. Datacom represents Fuji Electric for uninterruptible power systems and Layer 0 for static switches and power distribution units. High-tech power protection manufactures dynamic rotary UPS systems up to 3.6 megawatts, individual and 100 megawatts by combining multiple units. Call Louis Ruffin today at 505-507-7722 or go to datacom.com to learn more.
Dream Style Roofing tops them all. When your roof's worn out and needs to be replaced, we're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. They're at
Sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. Don't sweat the technique. This is the opening drive with two-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Siembieda, and JJ Buck. Don't sweat the technique.
No stranger to the Southwest, the Lobos have a new head baseball coach coming from North Dakota State, but a Tucson, Arizona native. Todd Brown is new head coach at the University of New Mexico. It's opening drive. JJ Buck, joined by Mike Turman in for Jeff Siembieda this morning, and it was announced yesterday that Todd Brown would be taking over UNM baseball program after 14 years at North Dakota State. Now he's coming back down to the Southwest. And the new baseball coach at the University of New Mexico, Todd Brown, joins us on the opening drive this morning. Todd, congratulations. Good morning. Welcome to Albuquerque. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it still really hasn't sunk in quite all the way that I'm coming home to the Southwest, and can't be more excited.
Of course, you look at your tenure at North Dakota State, 14 years last season. Your team won the Summit League, went to the NCAA Regional. So what was it about now, this opportunity, that you decided when the offer was presented that you wanted to make this move?
Well, there's a lot of things that came into play. My first 2 or 3 years here were really, really tough. And I knew that when I took the job, but it had so much potential. And then the ball started rolling. We started getting some good teams. And then, now my kids are getting older. Elementary moving to junior high moving to high school. Now they're both graduated from high school. They're both college kids. My son will be a third-year college kid, and my daughter just graduated high school, will be a freshman. This is the time, and let's be honest, if this opportunity came up 5 years ago, it was time back then as well. This is one of those jobs that I've circled a long time ago when I left the Southwest, saying if I can ever get a resume together and this comes open, this is a job that I'm going to go for and attack and can see myself finishing my career at. And it just happened that the timing all came together with my daughter graduating high school, and my wife's from Tucson as well. We can't be more excited to get down to Albuquerque here soon and be immersed in the community and be a part of some really, really special things going on campus.
Now, Todd, what stood out to you about Lobo baseball? And you mentioned you kind of had an eye on it. Of course, you played at the University of Arizona, but throughout the years, Ray Birmingham did a lot of work to build up the facilities. But just kind of overall, what stood out to you about the program?
Well, it's right in a hotbed of some really, really good players, and that's a great start. When you can be in the backyard of a lot of great players to build a team that can go deep into the playoffs, that's a great starting point. The town reminds me a lot of Tucson in a lot of ways, and and it's changed, it's improved. Ray Birmingham came in and built some things and got the program going, and I tell you what, I couldn't be more excited to take over. And Coach, we call him Cowboy Ray, right? He did a tremendous job of getting this thing in great shape, and couldn't be more proud to take over for him. And let's get this thing going is the way I'm looking at it.
Joined by new Lobo baseball coach Todd Brown, spent the last 14 years at North Dakota State, coming off winning a Summit League title last season, and the Bison went on to play in the NCAA Regionals. And Todd, you mentioned the Cowboy Ray Birmingham. He's still going to be a big part of the university. Do you like the ability of having Ray there as a fundraiser, as someone to promote Lobo baseball as you start the process of learning the program in this roster?
Oh, absolutely. He's earned the right. You talked about a Hall of Fame career, 43 years, I believe, in coaching in total, 14 there in Albuquerque, and he is a special man, special coach, and I think it's going to be a great relationship. Once I finally get down there full time, I'm going to enjoy getting to know him better and spending time with him, and a great resource to continue growing Lobo baseball.
I know one of the things that you talked about, and people might shock them a little bit, is home field advantage. You're happy to, as you said, be coming home, not just to Southwest, but the ability to play more games at home. Spring, quote unquote, is different in a lot of places. It's still the end of winter. I know at North Dakota State you guys had a lot of challenges with just factoring in the weather. So coming into Albuquerque, what excites you about the environment that you're going to get to play in as well?
Well, being outside year-round is going to be fun. Obviously, I did that growing up and had to make adjustments when I was at North Dakota State. But having the ability to play baseball outside year-round is a difference maker. It helps in the recruiting process. It, having a turf field, so if there is some iffy weather, not having to fix the field or tarp the field and immediately being able to get on it when the temperatures and the moisture is gone. All of those things, it's all about getting our players ready. At North Dakota State, we had to do a good job of recruiting players and developing them like nobody else thought they could develop. And we're going to do the same thing there. We're going to get players, but we have to develop them. You just can't go recruit kids and say, okay, go play. You have to be able to develop them, and that development piece starts with being outside and getting a lot of reps. And playing home games, I'm certainly excited about playing a good, strong conference schedule, non-conference schedule. We might have to do some home and homes to get some quality opponents in, but having home games is certainly something that I'm excited about as well.
Just a few more minutes talking with the new Lobo baseball coach, Todd Brown, joining us here on the opening drive. And let's go to the student-athlete piece of this. What kind of players do you think you can get to the University of New Mexico? And also, is there a style of baseball Lobo fans could see from you?
Well, as I said yesterday in my press conference, I'm looking for two things in a student-athlete. One that values education, that wants to come here for the right reasons to get a 4-year degree. That way they're in great shape when baseball comes to an end, that they can move on to phase 2 is life without baseball. And I think that's very, very important. There's too many good players out here, available to get players that have no interest in going to class or getting their degree. So that's a priority, but I want players that want to play in the major leagues. Again, there's so many good players out there. I want those players that are driven, that are going to work and put in the time that it takes to be a major league player. And guess what? Most of them are not going to be major league players, but having that mentality is going to be key for their development and their determination, their desire. And I tell you what, when guys are locked in and they want to play professional baseball, they put in the effort that most kids don't. And so having those two traits is something that I'm interested in recruiting, and having 35 guys on my team with those two priorities is something that we're going to shoot for and we'll get done.
Whereas, Todd, it's not just looking at the facilities or the potential players involved. It's about the overall athletic department. You were in a really good situation at North Dakota State. So what was it when you had conversations with Eddie Nunez and you started looking at the athletic department, the university as a whole, that stood out for you in this process?
Well, going into the process, I have a lot of boxes that I needed to check in order to, be interested or pursue that job. And a lot of them, right from the get-go, it was very easy to say, I want to be involved in this. But then you get to the nuts and bolts and meeting with Eddie and Dave Williams, and then you get the chance to meet other coaches, other head coaches in the department, and you get a great family feel, and that was important to me. You wouldn't believe the amount of texts that I've received from department staff welcome me to Albuquerque and to the Lobo athletic family. those things mean a lot because there's a lot of hours, there's a lot of time spent together, and you want to enjoy your time with your coworkers. And I tell you what, there is something special going on in that athletic department. I'm just glad to be a part of it, and I want to be a big part of it and do my part. And winning baseball games and all those things are going to come, but I want to be in a great family atmosphere, and it's there, and I'm excited to join it.
Well, Todd, congratulations once again on becoming the Lobos' new head baseball coach. We're so excited to see you when you get in town and the process gets going as you start to build up your baseball roster. But appreciate the time this morning and can't wait to see you when you get to Albuquerque.
Thanks for having me on. Look forward to it.
That is Lobo baseball coach Todd Brown taking over for Ray Birmingham. But you hear it there. Said once again about the athletic department, the direction that the Lobos are going. We'll dive into that more coming up next. It's Opening Drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
At home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style Roofing tops them all. When your roof's worn out and needs to be replaced, we're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. They're at home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style, a company name that's been around forever, no one does it better. You need a new roof, you know who to call. Dream Style Roofing tops them all.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Here at Legacy, we are here to disciple people by helping them connect with God, grow in relationships, and live generously.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
A rogue virus, no jobs, sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Calling all football players, are you looking to develop your skills this season? It's never too late or too early to put in the work. Coach Carl Barrere and the Air Barrere program at 8 Grady's Performance Center provide comprehensive position training for aspiring football players at all levels. Whether you're looking to increase your speed, gain strength, or hone your skill, we train all positions with a team of experienced coaches who know what it takes to succeed at all levels from Yaffle to college. Check us out at 8gradys.com to learn more and sign up for training today.
Checks. So you just heard from Todd Brown, new Lobo baseball coach, excited to come to town, take over the program after 14 years at North Dakota State. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, Micah, Aaron holding it down on ProView Network. Steph taking your calls, 246-0610. It's Aquan's Auto Care Hotline. Don't forget, NMDOT text line is 505-246-0610. But you had a thought, Micah. It was a great thought. Don't know why you kept it to yourself. You heard Todd Brown talk about first couple seasons really having to lay a foundation at North Dakota State, and you're wondering, is that the case at UNM, or are they ready to get going much quicker?
Yeah, granted, I should have asked him, but I let you take control. Hey, I'm just here for the ride. But that's kind of during the interview is what I was thinking.
Great question, Micah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I was thinking. I mean, like he said, at North Dakota State, you look at his record, he had a little bit of an adjustment period. It took him, he didn't win right away. It took him a little bit. I mean, you look, he went 75 and 120 in his first 4 seasons. So it's, not bad, but it's just kind of, all right, but you didn't. They didn't get rid of him. They kept him. They let him do his work, and then you started to see the output from him and his teams. And then he started winning some of these Summit League titles. He started getting these records where he's only losing 12 games out of their 50-60 game schedule. And so that was my kind of thought was, does he expect the same thing here at UNM, or is he think he has a team that he can win right away?
Well, that's going to be a great question. And next time we talk with Coach Brown, when he gets to look at this roster a little bit more, see what the incoming players look like, what he's going to have to do with the recruiting trail. Now, it was a little bit longer than I think even Eddie Nunez and company thought it would take in terms of bringing in the new head baseball coach, but he wanted to let the candidates finish the season. And Todd Brown did go to the NCAA regionals with North Dakota State. They ended up losing to actually Nevada in the Mountain West, so a future opponent for Todd Brown. But look at the candidates that were interviewed, multiple coaches with head coaching experience. Of course, Jordan Pacheco was a name on that list, former Lobo. I know someone that had a lot of backing from Lobo alumni, but Jordan Pacheco hasn't coached at this level yet. I don't necessarily think that should take you off the list, but that's why he was a part of the conversation. But I know someone that, especially Ray Birmingham, has a lot of respect for, so he'll get his opportunity in the future. But the one thing with Eddie Nunez is at the top of his list, and it's evident he's hired a head football coach, a head basketball coach, and now a baseball coach. But he is really adamant about having head coaching experience. Now, when you look at Danny Gonzalez, that was the right timing for a very good coordinator that was going to get opportunities, but you add in the alumni piece. That just worked out perfectly. But when you look at Richard Pitino, coming off with his head coaching record at Minnesota, now bringing in a guy that spent the last 14 years at North Dakota State, it's something that Eddie Nunez and Dave Williams, when they get together to look at these candidates, means a lot to them. And I get it. And I think I'm very excited to see what happens, of course, with Rich Pitino in basketball. Now, Todd Brown coming in, and then hearing him too talk about Ray Birmingham, because that is a slippery slope. Sometimes you could be looking over your shoulder. You have a legend in Ray Birmingham that's sticking around, but the thing with Ray is, he retired. He got on that horse and rode off himself, but he wants to be a part of the program to where I think it's going to be positive in terms of, he's not going to get in the way. He's going to let Todd Brown be the coach. He's going to just show his passion for Lobo baseball, Lobo athletics, and you can have that relationship where, Coach Brown talked about it, is he's not worried. He's excited that he can have Ray there for the first couple of years.
Well, and I think he should be. I mean, it's exactly like Danny Gonzalez and Rocky Long.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to let Rocky Long take over. Rocky Long is there to help Danny out, and same with Ray. He's going to be there to help Todd Brown out, kind of wherever he needs it. He's not going to take over. He's not going to, it's kind of the perfect pairing, in both senses.
Right, and if you're Ray Birmingham, it's perfect. He wants to sit back, spend time with his family. He can be the one in the stands going, yep, I don't have to make that decision in the 7th inning. Not on me right now.
Yeah,
Not
tell
on
him.
me.
I'm chilling in my lawn chair behind the fence, catching home runs. I'm catching all these
Chilling
balls.
in this fantastic facility that we've put together. So Todd Brown, new head coach of Lobo baseball after 14 years. North Dakota State. It will be interesting too when he finally just really gets a chance to dive in the roster, see what players he brings in and how quickly they can get going.
Well, and what I like and respect about Eddie Nunez and what he did here is he let them complete their seasons. He didn't rush and try to make a hire, and that's what I've liked about some of the hires he's made with Danny and with Patino and now with Todd Brown is he took his time. He didn't rush any of the processes. He didn't rush to get any of these guys, and same with Todd Brown and these candidates. He let them finish out their season, which I respect, and then he's taking his time. It gave him more time to make a decision, and it seems like, so far, all 3 of these hires for football, basketball, and baseball have been a little bit of a home run.
It's a honeymoon period, of course, especially Rich Patino hasn't coached a game yet.
We'll see.
The challenges that Lobo football went through to finish winning 2 games felt like it was a very successful season. So you ride the wave, and that's what we've talked about a lot for UNM is riding this momentum right now. Just the excitement coming off the spring sports that did win championships and all the work that those coaches have put in. Now moving that to the fall for home football games, actually getting to practice at home for football, men's and women's basketball, and embracing the moment, but now you got to go to work. And everyone understands that. And the coaches, first and foremost, they get it. It's still a business. You have your student athletes, you have the university, but you got to win games. You got to develop and win games overall. So things feeling pretty good right now at the University of New Mexico. Keeping it with baseball. So I saw the Arizona Diamondbacks lose their 23rd straight road game yesterday. That's 14 losses in a row overall, but 23 straight on the road. And it is the most bizarre stat in Major League Baseball that Arizona has lost 23 games in a row, but yet the Colorado Rockies still have only won 5 road games. So the Rockies have the worst road record. The Diamondbacks have lost 23 in a row.
What's going on in that
the
division?
Orioles want to be in that mix. They've lost 8 in a row overall. I think 18 on the road. And by the way, the Colorado Rockies have won 4 in a row. Just swept the Padres, took a game from Milwaukee. You're not bringing me back. We are seeing other people this year, Colorado. You're not bringing me back in. Stop sending me those late night texts.
He'll come back.
I will not return your texts right now.
He'll come back. He'll come back.
We agreed to see other people this season.
It's just, and like you said, it's so mind-boggling to me that the Diamondbacks couldn't have stolen one of those games. I mean, and you look at like all the stat lines for some of those games. Some of those games they should have won. Like they were up 8-0. Like they were doing okay. They're gonna take a game on the road, and then they just blew the lead. Terrible pitching, and then they lose like 9-8. And it's like, oh my lord! Like you couldn't steal a couple of those games. Like
an accidental walk-off.
Yeah. Oops, I hit a home run.
7-inning game you could have won in there. Well, the last 7-inning game they did win. It was the first one. It was Madison Bumgarner throwing a no-hitter in 7 innings. That was the last road game they won.
What, like a year ago?
23 games ago, to be exact, for Arizona. But it's this thing with Major League Baseball. And I was asking Jeff about this yesterday because he loves this story. You know, he's all in on the Diamondbacks losing and the failure. Like, is there anything like positive right now that gets you excited, like going into the weekend? Like, oh, I'm looking forward to this. I don't know what Aaron's yelling over there. He doesn't have a microphone. I don't know what he's trying to yell at us. Turn on your microphone. You're a professional. But it's spider tack. It's hitters trying to figure it out. Too much launch angle, analytics. Because I still want to like baseball. I still do enjoy baseball. But it just feels right now there's nothing like to smile about.
Yeah, baseball's which is weird because going into the season, at the end of last season, everyone is excited about like Fernando Tatis and the Padres, and everyone last year is hitting these homers, and Tatis is having fun, and all of a sudden at the end of last year, everyone was excited about baseball. People were talking about baseball. All of a sudden, baseball became fun. And it hadn't been in a while, and then all of a sudden you go into this season, and all of a sudden it's just this slump, and you're getting everyone just no one's talking about baseball anymore. I mean, you're only talking about the stories.
You're not excited to talk
illegally
about it, like,
pitching.
Spider attack and baseballs, and is this cheating? Is it not cheating?
Spit.
The gray area. What are we doing here?
Yeah, it all of a sudden went from fun to no fun, and which is weird. Just like
Can we blame Tony La Russa a little bit? I think he has to take some blame. The White Sox are supposed to be one of those fun teams. And they're in first place, but they do not feel, to your point, Micah, like the White Sox that ended the season. Because Tony La Russa is not letting them have fun.
Yeah, I was going to say, you expected Tony La Russa's team to have fun?
They're still first place. The messy as that has been.
Like the Patriots. Like they're winning, but no one's having fun.
Oh, no, I'm fun. Very Bill Belichick-like the disaster that Tony La Russa has been in the headlines and everything that's not baseball related, but yet his baseball team has won 43 games. I think that sums up
that's the
2021 season so far.
That was like, if that's your storyline is a winning Tony La Russa non-fun team, then you're in trouble if you're baseball.
All the ish that's come out about Tony La Russa, him taking shots at his own players in games, and yet somehow, someway, they're still in first place. So that is Major League Baseball 2021 for you. Oof.
But hey, everyone's getting new uniforms from July to August. Ooh.
Best logo of those uniforms?
I don't know.
We'll get there. 2460610 is the Quan's Auto Care hotline. You can hit us up. NMDOT text line is 505-246-0610. I'll let you know about a way you can get some concert tickets as well coming up involving the NMDOT text line. And you can send your emails, jj@sportsanimalabq.com. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Well, it's springtime.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green and keep the community green as well. Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment. You trash it, we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Next in line.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Extreme Clean is a proud sponsor and supporter of ProView Networks and all high school sports athletics. Owner Mike McLean and Extreme Clean specialize in carpet cleaning for apartment, realty, business, and residential clients. With over 20 years experience, attention to detail and quality customer service matters. For more information, give them a call, 505-221-6440, Extreme Clean.
Clark's Pet Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspets.com.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Car Crafters is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Drive, Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck. Micah, Josh produces for you today over on the ProView Network side, where you can watch the show worldwide on ProViewNetworks.com or statewide at Comcast Channel 26.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show.
Good morning. Welcome to Sports Desk Live on Comcast Channel 26.
Welcome to The Point with Nick Rich.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 10, America Talking Out.
I'm Pastor Flora Padilla of Mending Broken Hearts.
Welcome to Henry T. Game Face Live, Comcast 26, and Big Bad ProView Network.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Welcome to Local Focus with Sebastian Noel.
Welcome, sports fans. It's that time of the week again. You are watching the Weekly Rundown.
Hey, welcome to Red Menace TV here on ProView Network.
Hello, I'm Steve Davis. You are watching Public Access TV.
Here's a 1-2. That's lifted well hit into the gap. This might clear the bases. It's going to bounce off the wall, and it will clear the bases. A bases clearing double off the bat of Nico Barella. Got the glove on it. Squeezes for a second. That's tapped on the ground. Might be academic. They'll flip it to first in time for the double play ball. Huge lead. There's the pitch. It's low. Runner going on a delayed steal, and he's going to be out at second. One-two. The runner moving. It's pulled down the line. This might be trouble, and it's a fair ball. Sandoval coming around. Coach Pineda going to send him to the plate. Here comes the tying run, and he scores. Sandoval. The throw gets away. Cooper will go to second base, and we're all tied at 6 as Sandoval scampers in. Hit so far. That ball is driven deep to right center field, and it's gone. Second home run of the inning for the Cougars. They've got 5 runs in, and Siembieda has come roaring back here at the top of the 3rd inning. 2-run home run for Jalen Montez. Long look in, there's a pitch. That's in the air. In shallow right. Very aggressive as Gerard Pineda will have a play at the plate. Oh, what a hose in right. The ball was waiting for him as he came home, and he was dead to rights. 2-2, nobody out. 2 runs in. There's the pitch, and that's up the middle. No, right to Francois. Back to second for a double play. That's a good play by Francois. And 0-1 to Araceli Morales. There's the pitch. Morales swings, hits a Vela. What a catch by Vela in right field. Vela coming to her, running to her left and diving.
Let's get it.
Give me a hoe if you got your funky bus fare.
that felt good.
Feels good now. It's a Friday, y'all. Woo! Micah back in the house.
This is the first time I've ever done a hoe in the studio.
In this side of the studio?
Like, yeah, in this side of the studio. It's always been behind the glass. It's always been. Here's my look. We were doing the hoes on Fridays. I would close my eyes. I would picture you guys in the studio, and then I would open my eyes once it was done, and then you guys weren't there.
It's nice of you to leave right when we come back to the studio as well.
Right.
Who do you think you are, getting an office job? Trying to move up in the radio world.
You know?
But he's back joining us. Micah, JJ Buck with you, Steph, producing Ron on ProView Network. You can watch the show, Comcast Channel 26, and, of course, on your various social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Share the video every morning on our Facebook page as well. VOD in the AM. Just follow ProView Networks, like them, see everything they got coming up on the schedule as we continue the state track and field tournaments. We got baseball and softball coming up. My bad. I was asked to call a baseball game today, unavailable. Sorry, guys. But if you got something for state, maybe I'll sneak in a game. Absolutely love working with everyone at Pro.
You call baseball now? You call
I've called baseball games. Yeah.
Well, I would like to hear that because I've heard you call soccer. I've heard you obviously on the show. I haven't heard you call baseball. I'd like to hear that. You know, JJ Buck calling a home run.
There's a couple out there from softball season, but I'm not as good as my guy Ron. He's the baseball one over there at ProView Networks. Everyone talks about Sebastian Noel. They forget about Aaron, man. Don't forget about Aaron. He's the one that's coming up, not just behind the scenes on the mic.
So I need to hear Aaron call a home run. Okay.
Absolutely. We'll find that video, pull it up, and we'll get that audio.
We'll pull up Sushan calling a home run for the Topes, and then we'll pull up Aaron. You know, yeah. And then we'll see who deserves whose job.
Best home run call. That's a great July show. It's all coming up here on the opening drive. So the NBA never slows down. We already saw Kemba Walker traded this morning. Boston acquiring their 88th draft pick just for this upcoming draft. You were running it down. How many picks do they have?
The Thunder? The Thunder?
Is it the Thunder or the
Thunder? The
Thunder.
So the Thunder's updated draft haul.
Thunder.
So OKC is projected to pick at 4, 16, 18, 35, 36, 55, plus they have the possibility to steal the Rockets pick if it drops to number 5.
So they're going to have to move some of those assets, whether it's for future picks or try to actually win basketball games right now. So the Thunder are in the midst of trusting the process. So what happened is Kemba Walker this morning was traded from Boston to Oklahoma City. Al Horford, Moses Brown going back to Boston. So the Celtics obviously are eyeing future moves down the road because they need a point guard. They have a huge hole now in their backcourt. Moving on from Kemba Walker, and it's Brad Stevens' first big move. What dominoes is he setting up now, moving from head coach to general manager there in Boston? And for Oklahoma City, plenty to acquire really whatever they want at this point in time. Is it?
I mean, you even have the possibility if your pick drops, or if you pick in that 4 or 5 slot and you miss out on those top 3 guys, you have that possibility with all of these picks to wrap up a deal with all those picks and maybe trade in to try to get a Cade Cunningham or some of those guys. But also we're seeing a pretty deep draft this year with a lot of good guys. So also you could they could stick where they're at.
Back up those first round picks.
Yep.
See where it goes, and it's what we've seen. That's why we go right back to trust the processes. Stink, acquire those high draft picks, see what happens. And the jobs that are open right now after Rick Carlisle steps down in Dallas. So you have the Mavericks, Celtics, Trailblazers, Wizards, Pelicans, Pacers, and Magic. Immediately, I'm thinking of, all right, Luka Doncic. Is he the best player? Jason Tatum, Zion Williamson. So I'm going Dallas, Boston, Portland, Washington. No, Dallas, Boston, Portland, New Orleans, Washington. As I think the best available jobs. Indiana's pretty good. Like it's a quality team, potentially making the playoffs. I like Karis LeVert, Malcolm Brogdon, Sabonis. Orlando's an absolute disaster. They're in full blow it up, see what happens over the next few years mode.
you know, I saw somewhere. So I was looking through, and a lot of people were ranking Portland is the worst job to take. And actually, I'm starting to think that Portland, to me, I think that would be, you know, if we were ranking these, I think Portland is the best job. I mean, I think, yes, there's a lot of pressure, but I think Portland is, out of these 7 jobs, is the best team to win right now.
Even in the Western Conference. And that's why you saw ultimately Portland part ways with Terry Stotts, because that was, don't tell me at this point in time, oh, they were just the 6th seed. Yeah, but they were the 6th seed going to the Nuggets team that their starting backcourt was Campazzo with Monte Morris coming off the bench. Will Barton didn't play until the second round. That's where that frustration stems from. But it also goes to, are there realistic expectations with the Trailblazers? I think there are. You tell me, how can you not make another run, second potentially Western Conference final, Dame Lillard, CJ McCollum? Isn't that what this game is all about? We're talking about superstar and a number 2 player. Now, CJ was disappointing, but I still believe, CJ is a dude that is built exactly for this NBA. Now, is it coaching, or is it really, have we overvalued what's around Damian Lillard?
Well, and that's what I was seeing is a lot of people think that's the worst job because there's so much pressure, to win now. But I think that's good. I think you should have that pressure, especially when you have a team and you have a guy like Dame Lillard. You should win now. And I mean, that's why Terry Stotts got fired. You should be expected to win now. Yes, there's a lot of pressure, but to me, that is, I mean, I would like to say, I mean, obviously I'm a Dallas guy. I'd like to say that's the best job, but I think Dallas is a close second, but I think Portland is the best job right now because you just have a team where you can come in. You don't have to do much to it. You just have to come in, maybe fix a little bit of a puzzle that's not really broken, and then you're in win now mode as a first-year head coach. I mean, what better position would you like to be in than that?
And then with the Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic is 22 years old. He's going to be locked in with the Supermax. I am not as concerned right now with all the noise that's coming out of the front office because you'll get that figured out. And Mark Cuban, as vocal of an owner that he is, he's at the front. But we don't really necessarily look at Mark Cuban in like the Dan Snyder way or the Jerry Jones way. Like, he's a celebrity owner, but it doesn't feel like Mark Cuban gets in the way. But I will present this to you as our Dallas aficionado when it comes to the Mavericks. Is Cuban the right type of owner where he does embrace his celebrity but is out of the way enough, or is there a little too much going on which has you concerned?
No, I think he is. He's the perfect owner. He's the perfect owner for the players too. I mean, I feel like a lot of players, they really like Cuban. He's not as hands-on, as like Jerry Jones or as some of those owners like that. I mean, yes, he does sit courtside and he looks like a fan cheering for the Mavs, which I absolutely love. He's not. It seems like he's really hands-on now because
he lets the basketball people do basketball things.
No, exactly. He lets them do their job. He doesn't get too involved. And I know it seems like he's too involved right now, but that's because Doncic, we got to get him signed, and he's going to do whatever he's got to do to get Doncic signed. So it looks like he's doing a little too much right now, but at this time, it makes sense. And once everything gets figured out, he gets out of the way and lets the people do their job, and he just, he goes and does a Shark Tank.
Damian Lillard, Zion Williamson, Luka Doncic, Jason Tatum. Those are players that need a head coach. There are some fantastic jobs open for dudes. Oh, by the way, you can throw Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal in there if you would like that backcourt duo. Which job are you taking? Which job has the potential next year to take off, to be a conference finals contender? We don't see this happen. It's bad teams that switch coaches. Every once in a while, we'll see a Terry Stotts or what we saw happen in Toronto with Dwayne Casey. They were winning, but they didn't win enough, and Nick Nurse took over. So it happens. But to see
it's like three teams. Three teams
with legit, and I will use the word superstar. I think it gets overused, but I think when you're talking Zion Williamson, Luka Doncic, Jason Tatum, they have that type of lasting potential, impact in the game. And then, of course, with Washington, that's still a playoff team.
I was going to say, I would be a little scared taking over the New Orleans the Pelicans job. I only say that because of the report that Zion may or may not be happy, and that group hasn't made him happy. So I would just be concerned, if you took that Pelicans job.
What Luka is going through right now?
Well, and that's why I would be concerned a little bit with taking the Dallas job. That's why I don't think the Dallas job is the number one job. That's why I think Portland, because you have more security in Portland. But you look at New Orleans, you look at Dallas, and there is a little bit of that question with your superstar. So if you say, you were to come into New Orleans and all of a sudden you lost Zion, what are you going to do now? All of a sudden
you're going to lose your job too then.
all of a sudden, so it's like I would just be a little bit concerned with New Orleans and Dallas, just with the questions of the two superstars, if they're happy or not.
So who do you trust? We come back on the other side. Big game last night from the Bucks. And are you buying in to a rebound performance from the Philadelphia 76ers? The opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This one swing, it's going to go straight. Let's see if it falls, and it looks like the catch was made, and indeed it was for the third out. Sprawling was Kayla Reed for the third out. What a play. Garcia prepares, deals, and she swings it. This one looks ding dong doink. Yabba dabba doo. Grand slam by Mia Flores. Four ribbies for Mia as she just unleashed on that softball.
DCE Systems want to help schools reopen and keep the students, teachers, and staff safe. We can also help every business reopen and keep their employees and customers safe as well. Don't just disinfect. Novalent antimicrobial technology provides ongoing residual protection against bacteria and viruses and is proven to last up to 90 days. That's right, up to 90 days. Call us today at 505-507-7722 or go to DCESystemsInc.com to learn more. DCE Systems are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspets.com.
Datacom is the manufacturer's representative for the states of Arizona and New Mexico. Datacom represents Fuji Electric for uninterruptible power systems and Layer Zero for static switches and power distribution units. High-Tech Power Protection manufactures dynamic rotary UPS systems up to 3.6 megawatts, individual and 100 megawatts by combining multiple units. Call Louis Ruffin today at 505-507-7722 or go to datacom.com to learn more.
Dream Style Roofing tops them all. When your roof's worn out and needs to be replaced, we're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. There at home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style, a company name that's been around forever. No one does it better. You need a new roof, you know who to call. Dream Style Roofing tops them all.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes.
Who do you trust? It's a roller coaster ride of the postseason. Last night, Giannis went to work. The Bucks did what they should. The Bucks should win this series. They should at this point in time. Yes, Kevin Durant is awesome. Milwaukee has too much. However, do you trust them? Game 7 situation, Kevin Durant or Giannis? Who's taking KD? Who's taking Giannis? I'm in. I'm rolling with the Bucks in Game 7 because if we saw last night from Giannis carries over, they outdo Brooklyn. Now, is Chris Middleton going to drop 38? No, but I think he can get 25. I think he's going to be a constant. Drew Holiday was 1 of 10 from 3. Expect a little bit better there. But the number that stands out, the number that matters, if you're looking at that box score and it's 0 in a 3-point column, 0 3-point attempts for Giannis Antetokounmpo. He has to be the guy that's constantly going downhill, attacking the basket, and you have to be confident going to the free throw line. You're not great at it, but you got to find a way to get by. And we're seeing it with the hitch in his giddy-up. It takes him way too long to shoot free throws. And we've seen it multiple times this postseason, him get penalized. You only get 10 seconds. Like, it never gets to that point. But with Giannis, they're looking at it. The refs are on top of it. It's an issue in his game. But I'm going to go Giannis in Game 7. And that rolls over into tonight's playoff basketball after back-to-back collapses. 70% collapse, 30% comeback last game for the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm still buying Ben Simmons stock. Why am I buying Ben Simmons stock? Because of who is around him. And it is Joel Embiid. It is Tobias Harris gut check time. You want to start being talked about as a number 2. There's nothing wrong with being a number 2 because you're going to have your moments. Just look at what Paul George is doing with the Clippers right now. But Tobias Harris is one of those players that your time is now. In that second half, everything went wrong for the 76ers, offensively and defensively. Seth Curry and Joel Embiid were the only players to score in a fourth quarter. But as much as everyone wants to look at Ben Simmons, there's enough there. They should be the better team, but it's the Milwaukee Bucks situation where can you trust these guys? How many more times are we going to have to watch a Doc Rivers team blow a lead?
Here's the problem, and we mentioned it with the Mavs. You know you're in trouble when Tim Hardaway is your 2. We're seeing it with the 76ers. You know you're in trouble when Seth Curry is your 2. You know you're in trouble when it's Joel Embiid and Seth Curry. And the 76ers are where they have been since they drafted Ben Simmons in 2016. Or they didn't draft him, but ever since they did. Yeah. They've been waiting on him. Ever since they got him in 2016, it's been, 4 or 5 years? The 76ers are in the same spot because they're still waiting on Ben Simmons. It's like, how long are you going to wait for a guy before you just give up? You trade him, just bring someone else in. And that's where I think the 76ers are struggling. I don't think it's Doc Rivers' problem. I don't think it's Joel Embiid's problem. It's a Ben Simmons problem that I think they need to get rid of.
He's got to be aggressive. He cannot have a quarter. He cannot have a half. We had 0 field goal attempts. We don't need Ben Simmons in the corner dropping threes. He doesn't have to pull up. But it's the Giannis situation. You're athletic. You handle the ball. You can break people down. You're a matchup nightmare. Attack the basket. Have confidence in yourself. Or maybe you only shoot 50% from the free throw line. We're already seeing Hacka Simmons. That's something you have to work on. If he wants to be a star in this league, he has to find a way to get by at the free throw line. I got that. But he has to have the confidence in himself that in those big moments, in the second half, in the fourth quarter, he's got to be willing to have the ball in his hands to get to the basket. If he has to shoot free throws, figure it out, step up with some confidence. But he's a playmaker. And that is why I am still buying Ben Simmons stock. I'm not out on him just yet. But we're still talking Doc Rivers. We're talking a team that has had epic collapses the last 2 games. And how can I be going with Philadelphia? Because you know what? I've seen Joel Embiid respond with a busted knee, step up, and I think he will do that once again. And now all the things we've said about whether it's Kawhi Leonard or Paul George, we move to Ben Simmons and say, can you be that guy now?
Well, and to my point, you can't be a number 2 or number 3 like Ben Simmons is supposed to be when you're only dropping 4 points in a game of the series. And you're this deep in the playoffs. You can't drop 8 points and then and if at all, make up for it in assists and rebounds. I mean, you look at he had 4 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists in one of his games against Atlanta. You can't have that.
Can't have that. So who do you trust? Who are you buying? Some pressure on Donovan Mitchell tonight. How does he respond? Clippers with a 3-2 series lead. Look at the Nets Bucks. So much to get to. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Here at Legacy, we are here to disciple people by helping them connect with God, grow in relationships, and live generously.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
A rogue virus, no jobs, sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Calling all football players, are you looking to develop your skills this season? It's never too late or too early to put in the work. Coach Carl Barrere and the Air Barrere program at 8 Grady's Performance Center provide comprehensive position training for aspiring football players at all levels. Whether you're looking to increase your speed, gain strength, or hone your skill, we train all positions with a team of experienced coaches who know what it takes to succeed at all levels from Yaffle to college. Check us out at 8gradys.com to learn more and sign up for training today.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green and keep the community green as well. Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment. You trash it, we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
Next in line.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Extreme Clean is a proud sponsor and supporter of ProView Networks and all high school sports athletics. Owner Mike McLean and Extreme Clean specialize in carpet cleaning for apartment, realty, business, and residential clients. With over 20 years experience, attention to detail and quality customer service matters. For more information, give them a call, 505-221-64.
Ain't bad, and they can bring back a legend. I don't know if you go that far, but Mike is in studio, one of many that's been First Step is behind the glass producing this morning. Aaron on ProView Networks, opening drive right here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the sports animal. So here's a wild twist to the Ben Simmons story. Well, Philadelphia is under pressure tonight. Unlike we've seen before in 76ers recent history. Because of the back-to-back collapses from that team. So Ben Simmons shoots all his jump shots left-handed, but finishes right-handed at the rim most often. And there's a story from Kevin O'Connor a few years ago. Ben Simmons credits his ambidextrous displays to his father's demands during his childhood development. His father told his son to dribble and shoot left-handed. But Ben Simmons said, quote, "I think I was supposed to be right-handed." End quote. So it's one thing to use your left hand if you're a right-hander in basketball. Get comfortable with it, dribble, attack, finish. But it does feel like Ben Simmons doesn't even know how he's supposed to shoot free throws.
Hey guys, I'm a pro baller. I still don't know if I should shoot with my
number
left
one
or my
overall
right.
pick.
Number one. I still don't know if I should shoot with my left or my right.
Like that sums it up right there. Figure that out. I'm not asking Ben Simmons to shoot threes. I don't need to see it. You don't have to shoot threes to win. Have you not watched Chris Paul? Did you not see Giannis last night? Like, you don't have to be a three-point shooter in this league. Like, basketball is not just at the rim or three. It became that way. Analytics pushed it that way, but it's not the end-all, be-all.
But maybe he would be a good three-point shooter if he shot with his right hand.
With his right hand. Maybe that's the case. That is the wild bizarreness of Ben Simmons, but that is the question is, can you trust this dude? Can I trust Ben Simmons in a late-game situation? If he has to go to the foul line, the answer is no. But the way this team is constructed, when you have a Joel Embiid, you have a Tobias Harris, that it's his time. Like, Tobias Harris can show out. He can take over. He can be that shooter that hits the shots off of Ben Simmons' creation. So that is why I am in on the 76ers and Milwaukee Bucks, the two teams that have played some of the worst basketball in the postseason, that have had some of the biggest collapses. I am buying stock in them right now to turn the tide. And that is no shade to Trae Young, who has arguably been the best player in this postseason. As much as we talk about Chris Paul, well, let's look at what Trae Young has done with this Atlanta Hawks team. He is right there. But the first half of the last game shows you that Philadelphia, when they're clicking, they can be the better basketball team. But it comes back to, who do you trust? I know so many people have been watching these playoffs. I look back at the history of these coaches saying, how do you trust Doc Rivers? And when you look at Philadelphia and Milwaukee, for Mike Budenholzer and Doc Rivers, and this is just year one of Doc Rivers in Philadelphia, but if they lose this series to the Atlanta Hawks, what's next for Doc? Like, how much longer can he live off that championship he won with the Boston Celtics? Like, he has a really good resume. He's been in good positions, but here we are again. I think this is the end of Doc Rivers. If they lose this series, the end of Doc Rivers walking in to jobs that are win now.
That's so hard to say because, I mean,
I just said it.
You look at Rick Carlisle. It seems he's living off his 2011 championship.
He was,
and I just don't think the grass is really greener on the other side. You know, sometimes it's just so hard. Like, yeah, let's get rid of him, but I just don't think there's much better out there than, say, someone like Doc Rivers, as experienced as he is. I mean, yes, it would be nice to give credit to some of these young guys, who deserve it, or young girls like Becky Hammond. I mean, she would be a great coach somewhere, but are one of those, guys who deserves a shot better than Doc Rivers in this situation in Philadelphia? I don't know.
I think when you look at Doc Rivers, it's what else do you need? You had Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. You have even like what Joel Embiid is doing on his knee is unbelievable. We know he's not 100%, but he is still able to impact a game in that way. Now, 2 games ago, kind of saw it wore on him, and he was not good from the field in the second half. As players have to make plays. Like, you could have the best coach. Like, we could take Greg Popovich. Look at what he's done. It's not like San Antonio has lit it up the last few years when they haven't had the talent, so that's understandable.
Well,
but you got the talent.
And that's the thing with Doc Rivers is it seems like it's just been Kawhi showing up. It just seems like it's been Kawhi, and Paul George hasn't been anywhere until all of a sudden, okay, Kawhi's out. Now Paul George is the lone guy, and he stepped up. But it seems like when you have this team healthy, when you have this team, there, it's just Kawhi. I don't. PG's
Paul
nowhere.
George has been good this postseason.
Has he? He's been good without. He was good the last game without Kawhi. He stepped up to the table, but it just seems like
PG's been good overall.
But it just seems like PG even regular season. It just seems like PG just disappears, and then all of a sudden, it's like, hey, what's PG doing? Oh, yeah, okay. I don't know. PG hasn't.
He has a lot to overcome. He really can change the narrative if they finish this series off against the Utah Jazz. Donovan Mitchell, all the pressure's on him. We know he's not 100%, but he sure has looked pretty darn good at times. And it's the same thing we see with the Joel Embiid. Is now the pressure's on you. Like, you have to find a way to get it done. Losing Game 5 at home, as the Jazz did, without Kawhi Leonard, that one hurt. And this is one now you're going back to L.A., all of a sudden Paul George I think he's probably playing with confidence he hasn't had in a long time. Maybe even going back to Fresno State. Who knows? The last time Paul George felt like this with that performance in the way that the Clippers played. So now all the pressure there is on Donovan Mitchell.
There's a lot of pressure. It seems like more so than any postseason right now. We're seeing a lot of guys who need to step up and a lot of pressure and a lot of, we need to see Giannis step up in this Game 7. We need to see him, be who he can be. We need to see Joel Embiid step up. We need to see Donovan. There's so many, and I love it because there's so many guys that, we're kind of seeing not make or break for them, but it's their time to step up, in these big moments, and we'll see if they do it.
It's what we want. It's what we ask out of our stars. Is we get it. You're not winning a championship by yourself, but in a game of basketball, one player's performance is magnified unlike anything else. And with the injuries, the survive in advance mentality that we have right now with the NBA postseason, it's put more pressure on the individual unlike it has been. And whether it's all those names that you just ran down, but then it also goes back to who do you trust? Who do you believe in? And we saw, I know there's a lot of people this morning that probably still can't trust in the Milwaukee Bucks and Mike Budenholzer up through what we've seen in that series. Knowing Kevin Durant, you still have that guy, and you're just asking now one game, a Game 7 KD or Giannis, or how the heck does Philadelphia bounce back after that epic collapse last game?
I got a question for you. If Milwaukee can't finish this Game 7, they get eliminated. Do you think Budenholzer's out the door?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's the easiest move to make. The head coach is always the easiest person to fire because he doesn't have a supermax contract associated with him. And so in these situations, you're not throwing Jrue Holiday out the door yet. You're not throwing Chris Middleton. It is always the head coach.
Yeah, no, I agree in those situations. I just and I guess it's kind of like Portland's situation.
But it's like what you're saying. How much? So, like in that second half, where Philadelphia, they weren't playing defense. And I'm going back to last game for the 76ers. You saw them struggle defensively. You saw them really struggle offensively. So what did Doc Rivers not do in that situation, right? Those are the questions that you have to ask. What would Coach X have done differently in this situation? Is it just simply a mentality? Is it a feeling? Is it coaching in the moment? Because players got to make plays. So I'm right there with you. And that's where the trust factor comes in, is who do you trust in this postseason? Is it ultimately just take a step back, who's the best player that's going to win the night? Or is it a combination now of having that guy on the sideline that can right the ship in the moment when it's going so bad in the second half.
Yeah, and that's where it's tough. You've got the 76ers and the Bucks, who are kind of in the same situation as Portland. They keep getting, stuck. They keep getting stuck in the same position. And so, that's going to be the question. If the 76ers can't, move past this, if the Bucks can't move past this, do you get rid of Doc? Do you get rid of Budenholzer? Do you try to see if the grass is greener on the other side? And to me, I just don't think the grass is always greener on the other side. Well, yes, you would love to get rid of a guy, and you think that's going to get you over the hump, but rarely it does. Rarely you get a better coach than you already have.
Yeah, it's you go back to the Toronto situation. Dwayne Casey, an NBA Coach of the Year, they get rid of him. Nick Nurse comes in, but he came in at the same time as Kawhi Leonard. Yeah. And so you get a superstar player in that case. And I think if you're Milwaukee, why it's going to hurt so much more, much like Portland, is just look at the situation. Look at the team you're playing. Kyrie Irving got hurt. James Harden has pretty much been a non-factor this series, and yet you're sitting here in a Game 7. So that's why there are so many more questions. If you get beat by Brooklyn and it was the big three as expected, so be it. We would have all picked Brooklyn to win this series regardless. But now it's the factors involved that you're in this situation. And I don't even know, is James Harden even 50%? Like, what is he at right now? You see him, he's not attacking the basket. So many of his jump shots are coming up short. And so you just have Kevin Durant. And so it's also analyzing your opponent in the moment. But who are you buying? Somehow, some way, I'm in with Giannis. I'm in with the Philadelphia 76ers, the teams that haven't responded on a consistent basis. That's who I'm rolling with. Who do you got in the postseason? Right? Game 7 coming up this weekend. Giannis and KD. Does Philadelphia, Doc Rivers and company figure it out tonight? Or Trae Young continue his ascension through the ranks of NBA stardom? It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Car Crafters is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Drive, Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, Micah, Josh produces for you today over on the ProView Network side, where you can watch the show worldwide on ProViewNetworks.com or statewide at Comcast Channel 26.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show.
Good morning. Welcome to Sports Desk Live on Comcast Channel 26.
Welcome to The Point with Nick Rich.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 10, America Talking Out.
I'm Pastor Flora Padilla of Mending Broken Hearts.
Welcome to Henry T. Game Face Live, Comcast 26, and Big Bad ProView Network.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Welcome to Local Focus with Sebastian Noel.
Welcome, sports fans. It's that time of the week again. You are watching the Weekly Rundown.
Hey, welcome to Red Menace TV here on ProView Network.
Hello, I'm Steve Davis. You are watching Public Access TV.
Here's a 1-2. That's lifted well hit into the gap. This might clear the bases. It's going to bounce off the wall, and it will clear the bases. A bases clearing double off the bat of Nico Barella.
Got the glove on it. Squeezes for a second. That's tapped on the ground. Might be academic. They'll flip it to first in time for the double play ball. Huge lead. There's the pitch. It's low. Runner going on a delayed steal, and he's going to be out at second. One, two. The runner moving. It's pulled down the line. This might be trouble, and it's a fair ball.
Sandoval coming around. Coach Pineda going to send him to the plate. Here comes the tying run, and he scores. Sandoval. The throw gets away. Cooper will go to second base, and we're all tied at 6 as Sandoval scampers in. Hit so far. That ball is driven deep to right center field, and it's gone. Second home run of the inning for the Cougars. They've got 5 runs in, and Siembieda has come roaring back here at the top of the 3rd inning. 2-run home run for Jalen Montez. Long look in, there's a pitch. That's in the air. In shallow right. Very aggressive as Gerard Pineda will have a play at the plate. Oh, what a hose in right. The ball was waiting for him as he came home, and he was dead to rights. 2-2, nobody out. 2 runs in. There's the pitch, and that's up the middle. No, right to Francois. Back to second for a double play. That's a good play by Francois. And 0-1 to Araceli Morales. There's the pitch. Morales swings, hit to Vela. What a catch by Vela in right field. Vela coming to her, running to her left and diving.
Let's see if it falls, and it looks like the catch was made, and indeed it was for the 3rd out. Sprawling was Kayla Reed for the 3rd out. What a play. Garcia prepares, deals, and she swings it. This one looks ding dong doink. Yabba dabba doo. Grand slam by Mia Flores.
Suns are still in a really good position. When the Chris Paul news broke, everyone says, oh, here we go again. Unfortunate incident for Chris Paul. You can never count on the guy. Hold up. You still don't know if it was a positive test or not, if it was just contact tracing. Because I'm expecting Chris Paul to be available for the Western Conference Finals. And that's the team. We're not talking about any other injuries other than just Chris Paul's availability. And if he's on the floor, we still expect him to play well, not be hindered by an injury. But, of course, it comes down to, was it a positive test or not? And then the situation that stems off that. But they are awaiting Utah or the Clippers. Tonight, the Clippers have a chance to win the series without Kawhi Leonard's sprained knee. Going back to L.A., they have a 3-2 series lead, and then we'll see if Trae Young can continue his ascension up the star ladder in the NBA against Philadelphia 76ers. JJ Buck, Micah joining me in studio this morning, getting up early. He said it felt good. It's insane.
And that's the weirdest part. As I woke up and I was like, wow, I haven't done this in a while. I've been getting an extra hour of sleep usually, and now I'm like, welcome. I'm up again, and it feels good.
Said no one ever. Of course, Steph taking your calls. 2468.
Everyone's rolling their eyes at me.
Who do we appreciate? That's not the phone number. 2460610.
2468. Who do we appreciate? Stephanie.
Yeah.
Hey, Aaron.
What's going on? Been hanging out too many high school games lately. Or you can do the NMDOT text line, which is 505. Don't forget the 505-246-0610. By the way, you can text FOO, F-O-O, or Brad, B-A-R-D, to the text line. Don't put anything else. Just FOO or Brad to the NMDOT text line, and you'll be entered for your chance to win tickets to the Foo Fighters at Isleta Amphitheater or Brad Paisley. His concert season is getting ready to kick off here very soon. Foo Fighters, one of my first concerts. Saw Foo Fighters, Red Hot Chili Peppers at the Pit as a middle schooler back in the day. Absolutely love the Foo Fighters.
Great acoustics in there.
Definitely. The Pit was an awesome venue. I don't know how they got that, man. We've had that conversation so many times over the years about the roofing, bringing concerts in there, etc. I haven't seen it for quite some time, but Isleta Amphitheater's going to be rocking for the Foo Fighters. I'm stoked for the concert season this summer.
My first concert, my dad took me to a heavy metal concert, and I was young, and I was in the middle of a mosh pit. I'm just this young kid, I don't know. I was right up front, and all of a sudden a mosh pit happened, and I'm this young kid trying to throw my elbow out.
You were 7'3" as a 5-year-old, probably, right?
Essentially.
So they're just like, oh, this guy can handle it.
But it was just funny because my first concert, I think it was a Project 86, I think was the band. Took me to a heavy metal concert at someplace, and I just remember me just trying to fight off these grown men in a mosh. I was trying to survive out there.
Survival of the fittest. It's the NBA playoffs and your first concert experience. Gotta go, man. You gotta get thrown right in there.
You going to any concerts this year? Everything's opening back up. Anything that
I would like to go to some concerts this year.
I'd like to go to the Foo Fighters one.
Foo Fighters one,
definitely. You'd text right now.
I text FOO, the NMDOT text line, for your chance to win tickets. Or Brad. So Foo Fighters, Brad Paisley, a lot going on. Korn is one of my favorite bands to see. They always put on a great show. I think they're coming back to town. Run them down. But it's just great to see, man. It's be back here, everything that
it's great to be out.
We've done the last year. Back in studio, looking forward to the concert.
Going to Topes games. That's been fun.
Topes games.
That's been fun.
That's
just
your new
being
thing.
back out normal.
Topes jersey.
Oh yeah.
It's about the experience. The record is what it is. It's about the experience, the environment.
It's about being out, enjoying the people, living back a normal life.
I know. I'm stoked. Tomorrow, my son, his first ever athletic event.
Oh, what?
Little Kickers.
Is that soccer?
Yes.
Ooh.
He's taking his first sports class tomorrow. Cannot wait. It's gonna bring tears to my eyes.
Go Austin!
That moment.
I'm gonna show up to the field with a homemade Austin Buck sign. You got to give me his number. I'll make a jersey. A little Austin Buck. He'll have his own like entourage at the game.
His own cheering section for don't pick up the ball at soccer. Keep it on the ground. Okay.
Honestly, that's the best to watch though. Is like those young little kids. They don't really know what they're doing, but like they're having like the time of their life out there, and that's the funnest to watch. Is just them just enjoy themselves and not be too serious.
Sometimes the blades of grass are longer than their legs. Yeah. They're just trying to run.
I remember when I was a kid, I started playing football like 6 years old. Tackle football. There's a picture of me, and my helmet is like 3 times the size of my body. And so it's just fun to see, the kids out there and enjoying what we've come to love, as adults.
The sport.
That's crazy, JJ. That time went by fast.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy, but I'm just so excited that we can be at this moment. We're talking about concerts, getting the kids back out there, their first experience on the field, or wrapping up state championships, which keeping ProView very busy still, everything they got going over there. State track and field, baseball and softball right around the corner, wrapping up a bunch of district championships this week. And just looking forward to it all, man. It should be a fantastic summer. And just enjoying the weekend we have on deck. Who do you trust? That's been the big topic of the morning as Giannis, the Milwaukee Bucks, responded last night, setting up a Game 7. And then Doc Rivers and the Philadelphia 76ers. Doc Rivers, his resume has a lot of question marks on it. But is it coaching or is it the players? At this point in time, it's about the talent. Because we're not sitting there saying Steve Nash can't do it. He had the talent. He got the best offensive player in the world. You're sitting there now looking at a Game 7. So ultimately, I do believe it comes down to the players. Do I trust Ben Simmons right now? Not really. But I trust Joel Embiid. And a player that can make his mark. No one's talking about him, which is fine because I get why you would not have Tobias Harris jump to the forefront of your mind. That's someone that could make a huge impact. That's someone that could have their moment. Now, if we're going straight stars tonight, Donovan Mitchell, Paul George. I get it, Micah. You're not in on Paul George. Speaking of track record, playoff P does not have a lot of good feelings associated with it. But he had his moment, and he rose to the occasion last time out without Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard's not going to be there.
I'll give him that.
Donovan Mitchell's not 100%, but now it's his time to rise. What do you think, Clippers Jazz?
This is Paul George's chance to not only prove himself, but to show the organization that he is one of the pieces to move forward with. Because I think if he doesn't win you this game, I think after this point, they need to move on from PG. I think PG's gone. But I think if he stepped up the past game, if he steps up and
George or Kristaps Porzingis. You shouldn't even have to hesitate. It's Paul George all day, every day.
Paul George, unfortunately.
I'm saying.
I guess I would take PG just because at least PG can stay healthy.
He has done a great job of overcoming his leg injury. We just take it for granted so many times. Just these athletes able to bounce back, whether it's Kevin Durant coming from the Achilles or Paul George. It was playing for Team USA. They're having that exhibition game in Vegas, and he hits a stanchion. And he snaps his leg and came back.
And that's why I think a lot of these guys shouldn't play in the Olympics for Team USA. I think you have your professional career. I think you give some of those opportunities to some of the other guys who aren't in the NBA who are pro players who they might not be as good. Give them their chance, because then you just see all these injuries, from Team USA tryouts and stuff like that. And I also just want to give the little guys their due.
The little guys their due.
Yeah, give the little guys their due. I mean, I'm sure you give those guys a chance for Team USA, they'd still be
fun. Let's just say you put the all NBA rookie team out there, the ones that are from the United States. But if I think that LaMelo Ball, rookie of the year, by the way, this year. So LaMelo is what Lonzo was hyped to be.
Yep.
Lonzo turned into a good player, but people were just so done with the big baller brand. And the fact that Lonzo didn't explode right away, they're like, oh, whatever with LaMelo. And LaMelo is the best player of the two. Lonzo has a solid NBA game. This dude is good. And once you get past his dad and that mess, that big baller brand was, he's a solid player. LaMelo's got the wow factor.
Yeah, Lonzo was supposed to be what LaMelo is. That's how it was supposed to be. But I knew. I knew the young LaMelo.
You knew.
LaMelo was special.
You were watching his games in Lithuania.
Yeah,
You were staying up watching those games.
The Illawarra Hawks or whatever. I was watching him at Chino Hills. He was gonna be the guy, but Lonzo's the next Magic Johnson. JJ, Lonzo's the next Magic Johnson. Which also, don't get me started.
We started out as Alfred Payton, and he's elevated from there.
Don't get me started about LaMelo winning this Rookie of the Year. That shouldn't have happened, but
it brings into question MVP voting. If they went with Jokic was fantastic, had the resume, but he kind of got the bonus for playing every game. Thought it was going to be the same way for Anthony Edwards, T-Wolves rookie. Not quite.
And I pointed out during the break, I said the only reason why LaMelo won is because LaMelo is the guy for Charlotte. You look at Charlotte, you look at LaMelo. He's the number one guy. But you look at Minnesota, it's Cat, then Anthony Edwards. So I thought the only reason why Anthony Edwards didn't win is because he was the number two to Cat. But I think Anthony Edwards played a lot better. He played more games.
Season great.
Yeah.
LaMelo was better from start to finish when he played, but Anthony Edwards got better the entire season.
And like I said, I think that's the only reason why LaMelo won is because he is the guy for Charlotte, and Anthony Edwards isn't the guy for Minnesota.
246-0610, the Quan's Auto Care Hotline, NMDOT text line 505-246-0610. Come back on the other side. We wanted 8, but we got 12. What does it all mean with the college football playoff? It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
DCE Systems want to help schools reopen and keep the students, teachers, and staff safe. We can also help every business reopen and keep their employees and customers safe as well. Don't just disinfect. Novalent antimicrobial technology provides ongoing residual protection against bacteria and viruses and is proven to last up to 90 days. That's right, up to 90 days. Call us today at 505-507-7722 or go to DCESystemsInc.com to learn more. DCE Systems are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small.
Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Datacom is the manufacturer's representative for the states of Arizona and New Mexico. Datacom represents Fuji Electric for uninterruptible power systems and Layer 0 for static switches and power distribution units. High-Tech Power Protection manufactures dynamic rotary UPS systems up to 3.6 megawatts, individual and 100 megawatts by combining multiple units. Call Louis Ruffin today at 505-507-7722 or go to datacom.com to learn more.
Dream Style Roofing tops them all. When your roof's worn out and needs to be replaced, we're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. There at home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style, a company name that's been around forever. No one does it better. You need a new roof, you know who to call. Dream Style Roofing tops them all.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great.
So Alabama and Clemson, no surprise. William Hill Sportsbook at Caesars each have their over-under win totals at 11.5 this season, the highest in college football. No surprise there. More of the same, trying to chase down the big dogs in college football. Then it's Ohio State, Oklahoma at 11, Georgia at 10.5, North Carolina, Coastal Carolina, and Cincinnati at 10, rounding out teams with double-digit win totals. And we're going to see what it's like in a couple years. College football playoff expands to 12 immediately, just out of nowhere.
Right?
Like, are you even going to think about 8? Are we going to have this conversation? Boom, here's 12 for you. Whoa.
That was the funniest part. It's like, oh, yeah, maybe we should start thinking about this 6. Hey, we're going to come up with 12.
12. But I'm all on board. And
yeah.
Mike and I last year, to fill some time when things got tough, we did the Red Shirt Season podcast. We talked college football, and one of our big things was ultimately the expansion of the college football playoff. I believe that it will only enhance the college football product. In no way do I think this is going to take away from the regular season, because it puts that much more emphasis on winning a conference title, because the 6 highest rated conference champions will be selected in the field, and then you have 6 at-larges. I'm not naive. I know this was made for the power conference teams, to get more Big Ten schools in there, to get more SEC teams. I get it. But at least there's a light at the end of the tunnel. At least there's a carrot dangling for teams where there could be multiple group of 5 teams in this tournament just based on where they're ranked.
At least there's some representation. At least it just gives more incentive, because it seems like when you're those teams where you're not going to hit those top 4 spots and you're ranked number 9, you kind of, it's not that you kind of give in on the season, but you just kind of go to the bowl game. Yes, everyone loves bowl games, but also sometimes you don't see the best product in those bowl games. So I think this gives a great opportunity for those teams who are right there in the mix and that, kind of top 15 to just keep pushing and to just do something more, because there is that carrot of, hey, you can get in and possibly compete for a natty.
Yeah, to me, it puts more emphasis on a conference championship. To that point, it keeps teams in it a little bit longer, which I believe magnifies the regular season, doesn't take away from it. Because that's always the question. Oh, we add more, we add another wild card. It's gonna diminish the product. It's gonna make it worth less. And that's not the case. And our buddy Jerry Palm, CBS Sports, points out that in this format, if you go back over the last decade, Conference USA would be the only conference that wouldn't have had a team that found its way into this 12-team format. That's pretty reassuring. That's showing you that in this format, if it holds true to what they say, teams are going to get an opportunity. You're a group of 5 conference champs. If they're ranked high enough, they're going to have a spot at the table. That excites me, but also the fact that, as Jerry writes, this proposed 12-team format will bring more energy to the regular season and actually help make it more relevant and interesting, not less. And all they would try to sell you is that it would devalue the regular season. Like, college football is the only regular season that matters because you can't lose a game. Well, losing one game, should that end your season? Maybe it should if it's college football, if you want to go back to the BCS. But no one wants that.
The only problem that I see with this is that you get fans at the end of it who are going to complain if it's just Alabama Clemson, if it's your usual national championship game. That's the only problem, is you're going to get fans at the end going, why did we watch these 8 games or whatever it is just to get Alabama Clemson? That's the only problem I see with it. But then again, if those teams are deserving to win, then they win. But at least you're getting more shots to other teams that are right up in there that could do something. But like Cincinnati, like Coastal Carolina last year, who they could have done something, but they never got the shot.
I just
they just needed the shot. Yeah,
you just want to see it once. And football is so much different than trying to compare it to the NCAA tournament, basketball wise. But just give me the opportunity, because ultimately, if we get to the end and it's Clemson or Ohio State and Alabama again,
well, and
so be it.
And that's what makes, for basketball, the NCAA tourney so great, is you do see these upsets. You have all of these teams, and you do see some of these upsets. Yeah, at the end of it, you get the kind of bulk of teams that deserve to be in there. But you see some of those Sweet 16 upsets. You see some of those Cinderella stories, quote unquote. And so now I think you're going to see some of those Cinderella stories with football.
One.
Yeah, and I'll take
if you're
one.
looking at a 12-5 matchup and say it was Coastal Carolina, Oregon, and Coastal Carolina wins that game, that's the energy, that's the bump you're looking for.
Exactly. And that's what this college football format is aiming for. And I think that's what you're going to get. I think you're going to see some of those smaller teams be like a Cinderella story. And, who knows? We could see Alabama against Coastal Carolina or something like that. And I think that is so much more beautiful for the game, to have a shot of a game like that than just your usual powerhouse teams.
You still keep the importance of the regular season. It just is more important for a few more teams now that it's 12. You still keep the bowl system overall, which I don't want to see the bowl system demolished just for a college football playoff. I enjoy it. When you're asking in college basketball 340 teams to compete for one title, or college football 130 teams to compete for one title, I think a bowl system makes sense.
Well,
I think NCAA tournament, 68 teams, that makes sense. But having expansion at the top with the multiple teams that can compete for a national title, I think it keeps the integrity of the playoff system even at 12. It has the bowl system for everyone else that's still putting in work, having good seasons that there is that gap that we have to acknowledge. And the first round games at home, I think it's going to be an absolute game changer. This is the first round playoff games at home.
Yeah, instead of neutral site, that'll be nice.
I think that's going to be crazy.
That'll be nice. Yeah, no, I love it, and I love the fact that the first 4 teams are going to get a bye, because that still puts emphasis on being.
Yeah, that's how you magnify the regular season.
Yeah, and it still puts emphasis on being a top 4 team. And I've always thought that a lot of these top 10 teams who didn't get in that 4 format college football, they went to a bowl game, but it seemed like they deserved more. Yes, they went to, you know, some of these bigger bowl games like the Fiesta Bowl and whatnot, but it seems like they deserved more. And this is what you're going to get with this format, is you're giving them something more. You're getting them chomping at the bit, so you give them something more, but you still reserve all of those bowl games for those other teams, you know, that deserve to be there. So you're kind of setting aside, you know, those other bowl. You give those top 10, top 12 teams what they deserve, a shot at the Natty, and then you give all the other teams what they deserve, you know, in a lot of these bowl games.
I like it. I think it's a right move for college football. It keeps the integrity of the bowl system because it still matters, because I still want my New Mexico Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
You know it. That day at the stadium is my day to kick back and enjoy. Don't have to have a hot take ready. Don't have to do a post-game show. Just enjoying it. So do not take my New Mexico Bowl from me. But get a little bit more with the expansion, the opportunity for teams across the board to play their way in to a playoff is what we want out of sport, and we get that now from college football. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
These are more than just the sound.
You're going to get yourself a high-intensity workout. That is fantastic. Last night it was Romans, and it was upper body strength training. And we hit it hard. 3 sets, 3 pods, but you went as heavy as you could for the 4 sets. And you come back, and it's going to be more cardio-based today. And that's what I love about F45 training, is full-body functional fitness is exactly what it is. You're talking strength, you're talking cardio, endurance, stamina. And it's not just 45 minutes on an exercise bike or a rower, etc. You hit so many different things. The new program that dropped a couple weeks ago has been awesome. Look forward to hitting it again this weekend. And that's the thing. You're busy. You got life going on. It's concert season. It's vacation season once again. But you still want to find ways to focus on your fitness. It's going to cost you just 45 minutes, and classes are available 7 days a week. So check them out at f45training.com. Download the F45 app. Take a look at the Northeast Heights location and sign up for your free 7-day trial. Get in the gym. See what it's all about. You're going to realize I can get all this done in 45 minutes and deal with everything else I have to. Absolutely. So F45 Training is the gym for you. F45training.com. Download the app today. Team training, life-changing. I'll see you at F45.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Here at Legacy, we are here to disciple people by helping them connect with God, grow in relationships, and live generously.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
A rogue virus, no jobs, sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspets.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Calling all football players, are you looking to develop your skills this season? It's never too late or too early to put in the work. Coach Carl Barrere and the Air Barrere program at 8 Grady's Performance Center provide comprehensive position training for aspiring football players at all levels. Whether you're looking to increase your speed, gain strength, or hone your skill, we train all positions with a team of experienced coaches who know what it takes to succeed at all levels from Yaffle to college. Check us out at 8gradys.com to learn more and sign up for training today.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green.
And keep the community green as well.
Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment.
You trash it,
we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
Early in California, no big movers yet. Louis Oosthuizen, Russell Henley atop the Open leaderboard at 4 under par.
I see what Jeff's doing. He went out to Cali to watch. Okay.
I sneak in a little U.S. Open action. All right, Torrey Pines. First, the defending U.S. Open champion is Bryson DeChambeau. DeChambeau was +2 on his round yesterday. His rival Brooks Koepka, 2 under par. He'll tee off at 2:14. I have no idea if that is Mountain Time and or Eastern Time on this leaderboard, but he'll be out this afternoon as we'll watch the U.S. Open this weekend. How about Xander Schauffele there? Of course, San Diego State Aztec. He's also at 2 under. I was big on Xander. He has been awesome in the majors in terms of where he finishes, but can he get it done? And we'll see how Phil Mickelson responds to the fans and their camera phones this round after 4 over yesterday.
He's gonna, before he tees off, he's gonna walk around like, all right guys, you got your phone. Hey sir, do you have your phone up? Okay, and then he's gonna line up.
Yep. Please silence your cell phone. The opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal.
He's gonna wear a hat. I bet you he's gonna wear a hat. It's gonna say silence cell phones.
That would actually be a good move by Phil Mickelson. I'd enjoy that one today if he did.
That would be some good merch. Don't get me wrong. I would buy some Phil Mickelson silence your cell phone merch.
Mickelson silence your phone merch. Of course, Steph producing, taking your calls. 2460610 is the Quan's Auto Care hotline. Terry, you're on the opening drive. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, JJ. Good morning, Micah. Glad to have Micah in the house. So for the football, I'm glad they're expanding the playoffs. You know, a couple years ago, Alabama, they won it without even winning their own division in their conference. And I go back to 5-7 years ago when TCU got robbed. They went from 3rd to 6th in the last week after winning their last game 51-3. I think there's times when a team can get in there and do some damage, and then always the underdogs to get a fair shake and at least get a chance to prove themselves. So, yes, it's all about the money, but for the kids' sake, you know, let them rock and roll. And from that, I hope Jeff's bowl doesn't take a dive, but still hope it goes well. I don't know if you guys heard of the new Jimmy Kimmel Bowl. That kind of got me off the side. I was reading the paper today that the number 1 Mountain West team is going to play the number 5 Pac-12 team. But, yeah, I guess you name it after somebody.
Money, man.
So yeah, money on that. Mickelson, maybe he could go out and play the round with those little earphones they put on little babies that go to games. If he thinks the crowd noise is too bad, he could put on those on his head.
His noise canceling.
And try to survive it. But, yeah, JJ, you mentioned enjoy with your son. After my kids have had decent athletic careers, but still I go back to the first day my son played soccer, and soccer wasn't around when I was a kid. And we got him on a team, and the first time he went to kick the ball went 2 feet, and his shoe went about 20 yards. And it's still a memory that my, friends bring up and everything, and it brings a chuckle, especially coming up to Father's Day. So, JJ, you have a wonderful Father's Day. I know you're a great dad. Micah, I hope you being single, don't get too many Father's Day cards in the mail. But you guys have a great weekend and take care. Bye-bye.
Appreciate the phone call. Terry, yeah, that might be a interesting one in the Micah household if your girlfriend got a hold of some Father's Day cards. What? Well,
But I was thinking with your son's first game, is there any way we can get ProView out there? Get ProView out there to record the game, so then you have the game like on camera.
I'm sure you guys have some cameras available, a laptop you can send out there. Marty will make
to do the call. That's the problem. You'll be too focused on the game. Be like, oh wait, this has been silent for a while.
Yeah. Who knows? ProView's got you covered. Yeah, they'll be out there. 2-year-old little kickers practice on ProView Networks, 9 a.m. Comcast 120.
It's like, gosh, how good is this Austin Buck kid? I mean, he got ProView out here. He's got an entourage. Like, is he the next superstar?
Oh, that's the kind of pressure that will absolutely destroy a kid. Destroy a kid. He'll be done with sports
for 30
minutes.
Yeah.
Excuse me. All right, I'm out of here. No, thank you. No, but appreciate the phone call. Terry, he got in. Still got a few minutes for you. 246-0610 is the Quan's Auto Care hotline. Of course, NMDOT text line. It's 505-246-0610. So this is a story that's going to get a lot of traction today. And if you saw it on social media, it is fantasy football penalty.
Oh, I saw
you
that.
see this? So there's always a lot of great stories about finishing last in your fantasy football league. And I know some friends that do a tattoo league, which is pretty crazy.
Oof.
Finish last, you got to get a tattoo, and you got 0. Like, you can pick where it goes. So it's not like they're going to tattoo your face. But, yeah, you open yourself up to whatever they want to put on your body. There you go. This case, it was Lee Sanderlin, who his penalty was he had to spend 24 hours in a Waffle House. 24 hours. But for every waffle that he ate, it shaves an hour off your time.
And the weird thing is he only ate like 9 waffles. Like, don't get me wrong, it was something like he ate like 7-9 waffles. I think he was there for a total of like 15 hours.
15 hours.
But like,
that is a long time in a waffle.
To me, you think you would at least try to put down more waffles than he did. Like, I wouldn't want to spend 50. And I think he went there at 4 p.m. too.
That's the problem.
So,
like, I'd show up at like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
So get a good night's sleep. Don't have anything on my stomach yet.
Chow down some waffles.
Show up at 6 a.m. and try to knock out.
How many waffles do you think you guys could eat? Let's put it that way. How many waffles do you think you could put? How much time do you think you would be able to shave off at 24 hours?
I would probably give myself 6 to 6. Like, maybe could I do 12 waffles?
I think I could put down 15.
15.
I mean, within
because you're gonna have to. All right, you're committing yourself to multiple hours to get through it already.
Like a waffle every 30 minutes or something like that, and then so then it's not too hard on yourself. I don't know. I just feel like I could do better than that.
That's a lot of waffles.
What? That's the thing. When it comes to eating, we all think we can eat more than we actually can.
Oh, trust me, I can eat as much as I think I can.
Got bobblehead over here, and Micah. Micah, man, appreciate you coming in. It was so much fun hanging out with you.
It's been an
being
honor.
Back on the opening drive. It was great. Steph, as always, appreciate you. Behind the Glass, AA Ron.
Thank you.
There on ProView Networks. And also a big thank you to Todd Brown, new head coach of Lobo Men's Baseball, who joined us this morning. If you missed it, the interview will be posted on our social media following the show, as are every hour of the show throughout the week. Wherever you get your podcast, look up the opening drive, and you can enjoy it. We got the Jim Rome Show coming up next. Colin Cowherd following that, and then the Sports Bar, Carlisle Trujillo Vitel at 4 o'clock before some Ice Soaps baseball in Reno. Everybody, have a great weekend. Enjoy it, dads. Metal, peace, and love. We'll talk to you on Monday.